When my elder child left home for university, she left such a huge void in the family. The meal times were suddenly very quiet. There was no noise in the house. And there I was again, holding back my tears and helping him pack his bags and see him off at the airport.
Rocking mama to real mama, Mamta B.
Suddenly single parents. Being a parent without having kids around in the house can be quite a funny situation, can't it? When I was in my teens, whenever I met anybody at the age of 50, let's say, it would freak me out so bad because I thought they are so old. Meeting aunties and uncles who were 50s in their 60s, I looked at my parents and I always wondered, why are they getting old so fast? It was scary. And then I remember I was in my 30s and I looked back at the younger 20-year-olds and thought, oh, they're so young. Then I moved on to my 40s and I looked back and I thought, 30, still very young. Moved on to 50s and so on and so forth, right? Now that I'm almost in my mid-50s, I've come to a certain understanding. I tell myself, okay, I'm a little older than yesterday, but still younger than tomorrow, right? Makes sense. Not dwelling too much on the aging process, I do like to go back now and then and reflect on all the different phases that we've come through, most of us women, as we reach our mid-50s. We start off with teenage years, then we hit puberty, then we have the menstruation phase, the PMS, the premenstruation syndrome, and then after that it's the reproductive years, pregnancy. Then you have the postpartum syndrome or the baby blues, let's say. After that, then we move on slowly to perimenopause, menopause, and then postmenopause. It's quite a long list if you think about it. And then just when you think you've reached this age where you're done with all of this, you're like, okay, now maybe all the syndromes are over. No. Up comes another one that I personally was never prepared for. And this was being an empty nester. Now, I was definitely not prepared to have the house empty, to have the kids gone. I didn't even think about it, so that was partly my own fault. It just seems like yesterday that we were busy changing nappies, feeding the kids, our whole daily schedule running around their schedule, and suddenly now it's time to pack their bags and time to send them off. You feel like your role as a mother is slowly shifting. It's slowly shrinking. Ironically, many women who have had their children in their 20s are also going through either perimenopause or menopause at this phase. So you are already having a different kind of emotional upheaval going on one side. And then here is this sadness of saying goodbye to your child. It really hits you twice as hard. When my elder child left home for university, she left such a huge void in the family. The meal times were suddenly very quiet. There was no noise in the house. There was no one screaming my name from the room. It took me many, many months to actually go back into her room because I just didn't want to go into an empty room. I missed her too much. And all I could remember was counting the days till I get to meet her again. The only consolation was I had a younger boy at home who obviously would leave in another 2-3 years. And sooner or later, that moment came. And there I was again, holding back my tears and helping him pack his bags and see him off at the airport. I remember that huge plane flying overhead and I was just drowning in my sorrows. I was heartbroken. What am I going to do now? You know, what do I do, honestly? I had never felt this lonely and lost before. The house was absolutely quiet. The rooms were so neat and clean. There was nothing much to cook, not much cleaning to do. Grocery shopping, for whom? You know, it was just a really empty feeling. It took me a few weeks to get myself together, to slowly get out and start doing things for myself, to slowly reclaim all the space in the house. After a certain time, I got used to the silence, like we always do. Talking to my friends definitely helped. It helped me understand that I was not the only one going through these emotions. And that's the good thing about us women. We talk. Sometimes a little too much, but nevertheless, we talk and we share our stories. And in this way, it helps us bring us together. It helps us share these feelings, and it's a kind of a comfort thing. I remember someone coming by and saying, "Hey, your nest might be empty, but your life must be full. Chin up." And I think that's the best piece of advice I received, just when I needed it. More on this unexpected post-parenting period in our lives in the next episode. Please just send in your messages through Facebook and Instagram. It would be wonderful to get your stories in and to be able to share it here.
Hits FM 91.2.